Welcome everyone to the review of the film Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, the Culling game. Not much game though, but we get execution sort of, and we don't really know what the Culling game really is. But let's get down to the review, okay? Now I've actually written everything down, so I'm going over my notes, okay? So before the good part of the film actually started, we get to see a few minutes of previously on Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 eps. Okay, so yes, we get to see the whole Shinjuku arc of season 2 play out at the beginning of the film. So we are reminded, and new anime fans get to catch up on the reason for what's about to happen in the film. Okay, so, as I mentioned, we get reminded of the deaths in season 2 and some awesome characters of the show as well. Okay, like Nami, the sorcerer who's always dressed like a classic man. He gets burned by Jogo, the flaming cursed spirit. We also see the head of the Zenin clan take a fatal blow by Jogo from all directions with flames. Okay, and Maki Zenin also takes a stream of flames to the face by Jogo. So, wow, Jogo, 3 out of 1. That's like three sorcerers, and then you got taken out by Sakuna. Shame. Okay. Further on, we see the battle between Sakuna, the divine general Sakuna, and the divine general Shikigami Mahoraga. Okay. And everybody knows, sorry, it's like super hot right now. It's like summer here in South Africa. Okay. And we witness pure strength from the divine general, and most importantly, why Sakuna is so feared as the most powerful sorcerer in existence. Okay, because this guy took out the most powerful Shikigami that the Zenin clan have. Okay, Megumi unleashed the divine general Maharaga, and remember, Megumi is part of the Zenin clan. Okay, and that is where he learned more of the Shikigami curses. Okay, but Sakuna lays waste to Maharaga and also the Shinjuku area. Okay, literally murdering everybody and every single human and curse spirit that is in the area. I'm gonna say roughly about 5 kilometers circumference. Okay, of where he stood, and then he allows himself to disappear again so that Yuji can come back and wake up and see exactly what he did. Okay, so basically, so Yuji takes the blame on himself, and we also in season 2, you just sketches the ground and it's bleeding. Just give me goosebumps thinking about it. To be able to scratch that hard and the blood is coming out and you're just scratching out of pure frustration because of what happened, knowing that you were basically the one who did it, even though you weren't fully in control of your body. Oh, that is intense. So basically, Yuji blames himself for what happened at the Shinjuku in season 2 at Shinjuku area, okay, and everybody that get killed. Not to mention, I love the fact that we got to see Maharaga and just such a powerful Shikigami that Megumi is still busy trying to um, control. And also Sakuna. The fact that Sakuna is so powerful that he can take out Maharaga with ease. I mean, he didn't even give a full extent of his abilities. He just showed the reason why he's the best and the most powerful sorcerer in existence, okay, in history. It's insane. But also remember, what we actually do get to see in this is we are getting the recap of season 2, okay? So after the fight with the Divine General, okay, and Yuji basically blaming himself for everything, Yuji also fights Chozo in this, okay? At the same time, we see Yuki Chikomo, which appears at the end of season 2. This is everything you actually get to see in the recap, which is in the film, to be honest, okay? And Yuji speaks to Geto, okay? And apparently, Chozo called Geto, or the being, the cursed spirit that is possessing Geto's body, by the name Noritoshi Kamo, which actually the real name is, because he said, I have gone by many names. This cursed spirit has been around for more than 1,000 years, never even exercised, okay? And his real name is Kanjaku, okay? And apparently, I got information on Kanjaku. Okay, it says here, few villains in Jujutsu Kaisen play the long game quite like Kanjaku. Okay, this ancient sorcerer has lived for over. It's apparently it's a sorcerer. I thought it was a curse spirit. This ancient sorcerer has lived for over 1,000 years by transferring his brain into new bodies, embedding himself deep within Jujutsu history. Okay, from masterminding the Shibuya incident to creating the Culling game, which is basically going to be found in this review and in the film. Okay, I keep on saying Shinjuku. It's the Shibuya incident. My apologies. Shibuya. So whenever I see Shinjuku, I need to understand it was the Shibuya incident, not the Shinjuku incident. Okay? Kanjaku's manipulation has permanently altered the balance of the sorcerer world. And basically, his ultimate ambition is both terrifying and visionary, merging humanity with Tengen, the Star Platinum, to trigger a forced evolution of cursed energy on a global scale. Okay? Well, I'm only going to go that far. That is basically the synopsis of Kanjaku, and basically we just exposed his plan and also like what his true ambition is, and the fact that he is the one behind the Culling game. Okay, but obviously we don't know, or you guys don't know, what the Culling game really is. So in this recap, he reveals at least his plan, not really fully his plan, but what Kanjaku or Geto also did was he activated a specific spell, and this spell unleashed so much cursed spirits all over Japan. And right now, Japan is overrun. Okay, so basically, in this recap or season two, it ends with the higher ups saying the Jujutsu Council saying, okay, the principal of the Japan Bronze Jiu-Jitsu High School will be executed. Okay, he's been sentenced to death. On top of that, Gojo has been captured, and anybody who deems to free Gojo will antagonize Kanjaku, and they will be deemed as criminals and face punishment. So basically, nobody's got to go out and help Gojo at the same time. Okay. On top of that, Yuji has now been sentenced to death, and his executioner will be Yuta Okochu, who is also a special grade sorcerer just like Gojo. And boom, from the recap, we go into the actual meat of the story. So we see a city which is overrun by cursed spirits, small and big, and completely horrifying. And the way the setting is set out in this city is so dark and gritty. It's like Yuji is the only person there, and Yuji is jumping from building to building, apartment to apartment. He's running from away from the Jujutsu organization. He's running away from cursed spirits. He has to fight these things on, and just as he's, uh, you know, almost caught by this massive curse spirit, boom, Yuta jumps in and immediately starts his execution on Yuji. A fight breaks out, Yuji trying to dodge everything, and um, boom, he meets up with Chozo, and Chozo basically also assists Yuji. But in the meantime, Yuji is basically trying to survive and also escape from his executioner, who is Yuta Okacho. Boom, flashback. Not flashback. Boom, we go to a different scene, which is where now we are in the Zenin household, and we get to see the son of the Zenin clan, the next head of the Zenin clan. We see the brother of the head of the Zenin clan, and I think we also see maybe a relative. But basically, these three come together because the Zenin clan leader, okay, the head of the Zenin clan, received fatal blows from Jogo, the fire spirit, and is on the verge of death. And as they're busy discussing, we get to see the characteristics of the new head, or the next head of the Zenin clan, and it's a very cocky dude. This dude is all ego and insecure and believes he's the best and he deserves what is coming his way. He doesn't even care the fact that his father's on the verge of death. And while they're busy having an argument, boom, somebody who represents the head of the Zenin clan and the Zenin clan and the will of the head of the Zenin clan steps in and says, sadly, the head of the Zenin clan has passed away. Time to read the will. And the will is read out that this asshole of a son will be the head of the Zenin clan and all finances, cursed artifacts, and cursed books will be passed down to him, and he will be the head of the Zenin clan. Okay, but there's a clause. Apparently, the head of the Zenin clan made a deal with Toji, who is the father of Megumi, the guy who got killed by Gojo in the recap in season 2, the beginning. Okay, the one who was tasked with taking out Gojo, and of course the new star vessel, the platinum star vessel. Yeah, we all know who Toji is. That awesome fighter. Well, apparently he made a deal with the head of the Zenin clan. Remember, Toji is or was a Zenin member, a Zenin clan member. Okay, but because he didn't have any cursed spirits or cursed energy, they kind of looked down on him and shunned him. Okay, but before he even died, he made a deal with the head of the Zenin clan when he promised that they will have Megumi. Okay, and the will actually encompasses Megumi to be the next head of the Zenin clan if Gojo dies. If Gojo dies, Megumi, for some reason, becomes the head of the Zenin clan. Okay? And the son of the head of the Zenin clan does not like this because his throne is being taken away right now. Okay? So they actually have to make sure that Megumi is safe and obviously rescue Gojo if he wants to be the head of the Zenin clan. If Gojo dies, everything goes to Megumi. Okay? And at the same time, this also encompasses the vessel of Sakuna, which is kind of weird at how it does. But that is exactly what happens. So they have to get Yuji. They have to make sure that Megumi is safe, and they have to make sure that Gojo survives, because apparently the head of the Zenin clan doesn't trust it for some reason in his will that if Gojo disappears, Megumi must take over, which is kind of weird. So the new frustrated head of the Zenin clan decides to take his little straw shoes and go find Megumi, and especially Yuji, because he is kind of try and kill Yuji. That's for sure. Okay. In this time, Okajo is chasing Yuji, and immediately during the fight, this dude meets up with Chozo. The guy that's about to go chase down and kill Yuji meets up with Chozo, and Yuji's there as well. And Okotsu jumps in too. So it's a four on. It's a it's a four. It's a two-man battle. Okay, 2-on-2. Chozu goes and fights the Zenin clan member. Okay, and Okuju goes after Yuji. What happens in the film is that Okotsu kills Yuji. That's right. Yuji dies in this film of the Culling game. But it's not all as it seems, okay? Because Okaju actually, what he did was he really did kill Yuji. But he also revived him somehow. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm going to want you guys to actually watch the movie and then understand for yourself, okay? Even though I'm spoiling many, many, many things in this film. Chozo does get the upper hand of the Zenin clan head, the new Zenin clan head, but still gets knocked out because guess what? Okatsu appears and basically helps the head of the Zenin clan. And he's holding Yuji, which means Yuji's dead. And he tells the Zenin head member, look, tell the higher ups I did my thing. I did execution. Yuji's dead. Okay? And that's where the scene ends. So in the next scene, we see the part where Okuju is sitting by Yuji, and Yuji wakes up wondering why he's still alive. Okuju explains how he survived. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. But basically, Okuju explains also why He survived. I'm not going to say how Yuji survived, okay? But the reason why Okuju did not kill Yuji was because before the Shibuya incident happened, Gojo came to Okuju and said, if anything happens to me, I want you to have Yuji's back. Because just like you in the film, the previous film, Yuji also had a secret execution called out on him. And if he, Gojo, disappears or gets killed, they will initiate a kill on Yuji again. Okay, so Okuju needs to help Yuji have his back. And that's actually what Yuji explains. He says, look, the people I care about you. So that's why I'm helping. Okay? And boom, that means Yuji makes a friend. Yay! Okay. In the meantime, Megumi steps in to speak to Yuji. Now, Yuji is not feeling himself. Obviously, he is distraught from what has happened. He believes that things won't go the way that they want to go, especially with Sakuna power taking over himself. Okay? Or him being possessed by Sakuna. But this is actually what happens. Megumi says, we need to help people. There are people out there that need help, but I need you to help me first. And Yuji's kind of a little bit shocked. And Yuji actually doesn't want to be so close to Megumi because Megumi will get pulled in. For example, Sakuna might hurt Megumi. Uh, Sakuna wants Megumi's body because he wants the Shikigami ability. Okay? Sakuna's going to use Yuji against Megumi eventually. And eventually, uh, Yuji understands that Sakuna is going to fight Megumi, and Megumi has to fight Sakuna, who looks like Yuji. It's going to be a tough thing. It's a battle between friends, and that's not what he wants. Okay, but he's shocked when Megumi says that he needs Yuji to help him first. Why? A character in the film or in the storyline has been pulled. Somebody that they know and care about has been pulled into the Culling game. And this is where a bit of the Culling game gets explained, okay? Um, so apparently, sorcerers, good and bad, and curses have been pulled into the Culling game. So I think what happened at the Shibuya is a little bit of an experiment of what the actual Culling game is going to be. Sorcerers are going to go up against each other, and curses are going to go up against sorcerers, okay? The two good and evil are going to fight each other. And there's a point scale. Curses are this much points. Humans are this much points. Sorcerers are this much points. And I guess whoever wins in the culling game, and comes up with the most points, or the last one standing. This is basically a Mortal Kombat. This is a battle royale for the culling game. That person or curse will come out triumphant, and who knows what the pure purpose of this really is. Okay. The Culling game, as mentioned earlier in the description here of Kanjaku, the Culling game was created by Kanjaku. Okay, Kenjaku. I think Kanjaku is actually Kenjaku. But what we do understand is that Kanjaku's ultimate ambition is to merge humanity with the deity Tenyen to trigger a forced evolution of cursed energy on a global scale. That's basically what he wants. And the culling game is part of that, okay? It's Kenjaku's manipulation that has permanently altered the balance of the sorcerer world, because that's part of what he wants. He wants to alter the balance of the sorcerer world by the evolution of cursed energy to trigger the forced evolution of cursed energy on a global scale. Okay? And as said here, from masterminding the Shibuya incident to creating the culling game. The Shibuya incident, I think, is a small version of the culling game, and the culling game is going to be the epic version of what happens, which is going to happen in season 3. Okay? And that's what Megumi wants Yuji to help him with, because somebody they know and people and innocent people are going to get pulled into the culling game, and they need to jump in and stop it. Okay. At the same time, we see Maki appears, and Maki is still fine. She's part of the Zenin clan. She just has a bandage over her eye, but she's still injured, but she's ready to fight. At the same time, Chozo also is there because he survived the encounter. Okay. Okachu saved Chozo as well. And Yuki Tsukumo, one of the four special grade sorcerers, just like Okachu and Gojo, is there as well. And she has a plan of what they need to do. Excuse me. Okay. So at this point in time, we all see that Yuji now has so many people that he can trust that is around him. And they're all at the spot where they are hidden because they're going to do the next thing of their plan that they need to do in the film. Okay. At this point in time, Chozo, they ask Chozo, who the heck are you? And Yuji's like, I think that's my brother. And that's where Chozo goes into a comedic stance and says, brother, like Dojo. And it's a cool part. This because at this point in time we see, okay, cool, Yuji's alive. Cool, there are people on Yuji's side. Cool. Things start to look a little bit brighter, and that is where the comedic stint that Chozo does comes in. And it's not too funny, but it does put a little bit of a smile on my face. Because it lightens up the mood that is in the film. It's cool the way they transition from this dark, gritty, execution. Nothing is going as planned. The bad guys winning too. There is hope. There is still a bright side to things and a possibility. Basically, hope. Okay. So Yuki takes everybody, saying that they are going to go visit Tengen. There is a specific door, only one, that leads to Tengen's lair. All other doors lead away, but that door will lead to Tengen, where they can converse with Tengen. Now, I'm sure everybody wants to know Tengen, 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 Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann knows, don't they? Who is Tengen? Well, in the Jujutsu Kaisen world, if you saw the beginning of season 2, it had a recap where Gojo and Geto, who was still alive, had to protect the new Star Platinum vessel, okay, which is for Tengen. This is who Tengen is, really, in the show. Okay, Tengen is an immortal Jujutsu sorcerer, not a deity, a sorcerer, who permanently resides within the tombs of the Star Corridor to maintain the protective barriers around the two Jujutsu high schools as the foundational figure of Jujutsu sorcerers. Okay, Tengen is worshipped as a deity almost like Sakuna. I would say deity. Tengen is very similar, or Sakuna is very similar to Tengen. It's a sorcerer who is immortal, like Sakuna, I would say. Okay? And Tengen is worshipped as a deity, like Sakuna. I think the two of them are pretty much the same. Spawning religious groups, which is what Tengen did. They have no problems with aging, but they must restore their body every 500 years by merging with a specific human referred to as the star plasma vessel. I would say star platinum vessel. The star plasma vessel, okay? To prevent the technique from making it evolve beyond humanity and into a potentially dangerous state. And that's what Kenjaku is trying to do. He's trying to merge Tengen with humanity and evolve and spark cursed energy on a global scale. But we're still talking about the Tengen, okay? Going back to prevent Tengen's technique from making it evolve beyond humanity and into a potentially dangerous state. Kenjaku, this is just what I said, seeks to forcibly merge Tengen with all of humanity, a plan central to what the Culling Games is supposed to do. After Kenjaku's okay, let's not go there. Whoa, 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 whoa! I almost just got a spoiler there. Okay, that's what season is that? After Kenjaku's, we're not gonna talk about that. We only understand Tengen is an immortal Jujutsu sorcerer who permanently resides in the tomb of the Star Corridor and is worshipped as a deity and is immortal. So Tengen and Sakuna are pretty much the same. Okay? And that is who Yuki says they are going to go talk to. They're going to go meet up with Tengen because of everything that is happening and understanding maybe what the Culling Games is all about, okay? And the fact that Kenjaku is is performing his plan, Tengen might talk with them. So as they head to Tengen's lair, they walk in. They walk into a completely white room. It's like Full Metal Alchemist when they meet the God of Exchange or whatever. and where they cross the boundaries and we're like, oh, it's a completely white room, and the entity standing there. This is where they find themselves in, but they do not see Tengen. And Yuki's confused. Yuki thinks that maybe Tengen would have decided to talk to them because the situation is dire. And at the same time, um, maybe Yuki is being rejected. Maybe the others won't be rejected. But as they are about to turn around and walk out, Tengen speaks and calls out each person by the names and who they basically are. Like the vessel of Sakuna, the bloodline of whatever, the Zenin child, and all of that stuff, right? So they're all shocked by somebody calling them out by who they are, and the film ends right there. Honestly, the film ends right there. Basically, Tengen willing to speak to them, and a massive cliffhanger, because that's actually what I feel that this film was. This entire film was a massive cliffhanger to what is about to happen in season three. And I don't know why they called it the Culling Games. I mean, they just could have called it Execution. But the fact that we understand that the third season is going to be about the Culling Games is going to be so cool. So let's go on and let's talk about what I thought was wrong in this film. Okay. Okay. So the film is only 88 minutes. Okay. So this is almost an hour and a half. Okay. And the first 43 minutes of this film was a complete recap of season two. This should be an incident. These 88 minutes, and you give me 43, half of the film, 43 minutes of what happens in season two. It was cool to see the recap, but you wasted my time, buddy. You wasted my time by letting me watch half the film, and it's just season two. I have already seen these scenes. I didn't know what's happening. If this was for the new fans, I think it was stupid. Okay, they could have just gone and watched season two, or you could have at least had like 15 minutes of a recap. Even 15, I think, is too much. There could have been more plot, more cliffhanger to this film, but you only gave me 45 minutes of the actual film, which is an introduction to season three. On top of that, it is said that the execution film will have the viewers see the first two episodes of season three. So are you telling me the last 45 minutes of the film is going to be the first two episodes of season three? If season three comes out and I see the film, I'm going to be pissed. Because you wasted my time and you give me less content. I want more content. This is not Demon Slayer where we get to see things for 2.5 hours and it's the whole season. And most of the season that I saw in Demon Slayer, the film, was crying and feeling bad for the bad guys. Do not go that way because I'm gonna get upset. Okay, this is not how I pictured it. Not much is really explained in the film about the Culling game, and the viewers are kind of left in the dark as to what it really is in the film, even though I kind of just explained it from what I found. But in the film, we don't even know what it is. We just know that it's a tournament to the death. Okay, it's a dead or alive tournament. It's a Mortal Kombat. It's a battle royale. That's all we know. But if the 45 minutes is the first two episodes of season three, damn, guys, you're wasting my time by making me rewatch things, okay? And banking from it, by the way, because that's what you guys are doing. Whew. Now, going into what I like about the film. Well, I actually did like the storyline, the 45 minutes of the film. It's not the beginning, okay? Uh, it really reminds me of what I one scene which I saw at the beginning. Um, where Yuji is washing his hands and it's like these mirrors that are hanging there from the bathroom. It reminds me of a couple of scenes that I've seen in a Japanese or a Chinese film, and it really made it grounded and like helped me understand this is in Japan. This is happening in Japan, and that yeah, well, it's got to be because I see that in other films that come from Japan that come from China. That's the kind of thing that I see there, and it really was nostalgic for me, and it made me feel that it was like real. And to be honest, I like that addition. Um, the style of the way things looked in the film at the beginning, where Yuji is running away and running through the buildings and everything, it looked cool. It looked very dystopian, and a world where Yuji is he didn't look happy, but he looked more serious. Like this is a world we need to survive, and I thought that was a cool little aspect to put in there. Okay, because the situation has become dire. Okay, I like the fact that Yuji is also on the run from the Jujutsu organization and other curses because of what happened, and curses are now taking over so many cities in Japan. Okay, and it really seems like a dark time in the anime for the characters, especially with the loss of really powerful characters like Gojo and Nami and everybody else that they had in season two. Uh, okay, and obviously it seems like is this only happening in Japan or is this happening in the whole world? Because Kenjaku is trying to affect the entire world. Okay, um, and by the way, how do you defeat a sorcerer who's not as strong as Tengen and Sakuna, but is kind of similar to them. Even though Kenjaku is the one that is transferring his brain to different bodies, he's kind of like Tengen and Sakuna, okay? But I would doubt he's just as powerful. That's probably why he has to take over certain bodies like Geto's, because Geto is a powerful user, okay? Um, Yeah, I mentioned about him planning something. Uh, Yuta Okuchu is a special grade curse user, which we see the one of the sword that actually went after Yuji, trying to execute him, and really seems to be following his orders to execute Yuji. But we see that he only means to really injure Yuji, and then hide him and keep him safe from the Jujutsu Council, keeping his um, keeping his pact that he made with Gojo to step in if Gojo ever had to disappear or die, then Yuta needs to have Yuji's back. And it's probably because Gojo has so much faith in Yuji that maybe Yuji will be able to control Sakuna, or who knows. But Gojo feels that Yuji needs to be protected, okay? And it would be understood that Yuji would be under threat of death, especially when Gojo is captured or killed. The Jujutsu Council will probably be on the edge with Gojo gone, and they will have to rely on and who they could have relied on because they rely on Gojo, the strongest. But now with him gone, who is there to keep Sakuna in check? And all the other curses that have apparently and recently appeared since the Shibuya incident, and it's basically it's dire moments for the organization in terms of them having control and keeping everybody safe. So I think that the storyline is really good in the film, the last 45 minutes. Okay. And this makes me excited for the third season. But I don't want to see 45 minutes of the film in the first two episodes of the third season. I do not want to see that. Okay. And I can't wait for the third season to air and to see the Culling game and who's all really involved. Because they showed a few people and some people look like they can't fight and other people look like they tough and other people look like they probably just don't care. Okay. They probably just don't care. There might be killers out there. And just how the enemy curses and the enemy curse users are going to use this event or tournament to the advantage. Remember, the Culling game is Kenjaku's tournament. It's his idea because he wants to merge Tengen with humanity in order to cause an evolution of the cursed energy throughout the world. Okay? Well, there is actually a lot more that I could go on. I mean, I'm looking at this thing here, and I can tell you about Tengen and Kenjaku. There's the Zenin clan. This I got information of everybody, and it also reveals future, not future, but what is actually in the manga when the manga is right now. But I'm not going to spoil that. So, but I would like to put that in another video for you guys, so you guys can actually catch up on that. And it's going to be massive spoilers, but hey, I don't care, dude. Before it even comes out on the series, I'm the one that's going to spoil it. I'm going to give it to you guys, and we can hear your thoughts on that. Well, that is enough from me on the latest film of the Jujutsu Kaisen. Thank you for watching, And please tune in again for the next vid that will be on my channel. Bye.